We're in the lab today checking out the contents of this case-in from Micron. Inside is the new Micron 6500 Ion SSD, and it offers QLC value with TLC performance and Micron innovation. That's what it says on the other side anyway. What's really interesting about the 6500 Ion is that it's a TLC enterprise drive designed to specifically take out the large capacity QLC drives that are in the enterprise. And Micron's making no bones about this. They're going specifically after the P5316 from Solidigm, the 30.72 terabyte drive we've been using a ton of. We use the 5316 in our Pi computation to 100 trillion digits. We've used it as part of an autonomous car data logger, and we're even using it with MinIO in an object storage multi-node configuration. Really flexible drive, so it makes sense why Micron wants to go after that drive with something that's the same capacity, but at a little bit higher performance profile. But Micron's got one other trick up their sleeve. They're going after Solidigm where it hurts on cost. So they're going to offer this 6500 Ion at the same price as the P5316. The Micron 6500 Ion comes in just one capacity at 30.72 terabytes, but it does come in both an E1.L EDSFF, that's the long ruler form factor, and the standard 2.5-inch NVMe form factor. While the tactical case might be a little overkill for shipping review drives, it is nice to know that our 30.72 terabyte drives are secure inside. That is, until Kevin gets his hands on them. It should be noted that the Micron 6500 Ion is going after a pretty specific target market. It's really going after the workloads where there's a big capacity footprint, but read performance is still really important. So while these might replace hard drives and big data lakes, what they really want to enable is some of the next-gen workloads like any of the generative AI, the big data analytics, or any of the other things where having a massive data set adjacent to your compute or GPU resources is really useful. We've seen the high-capacity drives show up in a lot of different places in traditional enterprise workloads too, including Vast Data uses the QLC 30 terabyte part in their file storage nodes. PowerScale from Dell uses it in their solution. So we are seeing the proliferation of 30 terabyte in enterprise storage quite a bit, not just on the server side. So while the 6500 Ion is a really great entry to go attack the QLC use cases, it should also be noted that Micron's got the 9400 Pro, also available in 30.72 terabyte capacities, but with a much greater performance profile. Now with that, there is an expense hit. This guy is maybe a little under $4,000 in individual drives in retail, where the 6500 Ion at today's pricing, if it really is price competitive with the 5316, should be a little under $3,000. So that's where you start to see the stratification in the ultimate performance drive versus something that's going after a little bit more mainstream read-heavy workloads with not so much an endurance or a tier 0 enterprise workload rating. We've mentioned pricing a few times, and it's so important because this drive on a per terabyte basis, this is the Solidigm P5316, has been the clubhouse leader for many, many, many months. The drive's been out for a couple of years now, and as it's been out and been in production, prices have come way down. So for Micron to make such an overt effort to take out the Solidigm with pricing that's at the same price point really is a bold move, and one that as a big company like Micron will have to stand behind. Now this guy's not quite out into retail yet, so we haven't seen it with our own eyes, but we're told by Micron execs that if you go onto Newegg or any place that you buy your server supply parts, that they should be side by side. That'll be fun to watch over the next many months or quarters as we see what happens. And also, Solidigm's got another new QLC drive out, the P5430, that while it's not shipping in 30 terabyte capacity yet, it will later this year, and that'll put some additional stress on this whole relationship to see who can outprice each other. Ultimately, we're excited for the fight. More drives at higher capacity and lower prices is what the enterprise will get really excited about and quickly ramp up the bits of flash in the data center. So in our review, we wanted to take all of the 30 terabyte parts that we had, stack them up against each other, and see where they shake out. Of course, we expect the 94 Pro to have a substantial lead. It's only in there to show scale in the Micron portfolio of what you get with each one of these drives. But the big battle is between the 6500 Ion and the P5316, because if price is the same, which Micron claims, then the performance is really going to be the deciding factor. Let's take a look and see how that shakes out. So what's interesting is if we start by looking at sequential read 64K, we can see that the P5316 actually does a really good job here and hangs with the 9400 Pro pretty well. The Ion does okay, but obviously lags the 9400 Pro big brother. But when we switch over to write, looking at the sequential write 64K, then we start to see some of the weaknesses of QLC storage. Now, Solidigm, to be fair, has improved this in the P5430, and we've got another video coming on that in a little while. But you can see the weakness here where the Ion hangs pretty well with the 9400 Pro, but the 5316 just gets bushwhacked. The other problem with the P5316 is that it doesn't handle small block writes very well, and no chart makes that more evident than the random write 4K chart, where we have a hard time actually discerning the difference between the Ion and the 9400 Pro, but rest assured, they're both well in excess of what the 5316 can do. So as we can see in the performance, our team was really impressed with the Micron 6500 Ion. It's a great SSD, love the capacity. We haven't seen the E1L ruler in yet, but we've got the photos of it, and we know those things are pretty sexy too. So thinking about systems jamming in all of these 2.5-inch or the E1Ls is pretty exciting. And the performance is there. Micron did what they said they were going to do. Provide QLC pricing, TLC performance, and we see that. And we also see the delta between the 6500 Ion and the 9400 Pro. So if you need something more powerful, higher performance for those tier 0, tier 1 workloads, then by all means. But for mainstream workloads and what we believe is the bulk of enterprise workloads, something like this 6500 Ion is a fantastic choice. We gave it a Best of award because of its combination of price, performance, and capacity, and believe that this might be the next big game changer in enterprise SSDs.